Praise Yahuwah. We right back. In the book of Jasher, chapter 15. Not Jasher. I'm sorry. That's my favorite book. The book of Enoch, which is also one of my favorite books. The book of Enoch, 15. For clarity, because I accidentally chopped that up. Then addressing me, he spoke and said, if you didn't watch the last video, so far I did a little bit of the book of Genesis, Jasher, and now Enoch. And the last where we left off at Enoch was in a vision, and I don't remember if he was in a vision or if the Most High brought him. But check that out. Check it out. Read Enoch for yourself. And also check out the last video. If you just read the book yourself, you're good. But also, if the Most High leads you to, check out the last video. Because I don't remember if he was in a... Let me see. I can just look over real quick. Yeah, he was given a vision. And he's being showed hell. So yeah, that's where we're at. Enoch is being showed hell in a vision. And the throne of the Most High is there. And the Most High had just called him to approach. Then addressing me, he spoke and said, Hear, neither be afraid, O righteous Chanakh, you scribe of righteousness, approach close and hear my voice. Go say to the watchers of heaven, the watchers are the fallen angels, those that left their position, their job in the royal family, the royal family, who there is no family above, Yahuwah's family. They left their working positions and became bastards, and that is the original bastard, who have sent you to pray for them. You ought to pray for men. So he's telling Enoch, tell the watchers, you're supposed to pray for men, not men for you. Men's not supposed to be praying for angels. Wherefore have you forsaken the lofty and holy heaven? Now, yeah, I pray for my angels, and that's okay. Everybody has angels. I pray, right, because they have to fight against the wicked angels, those that left their throne. So I pray for them, and that is okay. That's righteous. But the fallen angels, having people to supplicate for them because they sin, that's not right. Wherefore have you forsaken the lofty and holy heaven, which endures forever, and have lain with women, have defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, have taken to yourselves women, and acted like the sons of the earth, and have begotten giants. You, being spiritual, holy, and possessing a life which is eternal, have polluted yourselves with women, and have begotten in carnal blood, have lusted in the blood of men, and have done as those who are in the flesh and blood do. These, however, die and perish. Therefore I have given to them women, that they might cohabit with them, that the sons might be born of them, and this might be transacted upon the earth. But you from the beginning were made spiritual, possessing a life which is everlasting, eternal, and not subject to death. Forever. It was never appointed to them to die. It's saying it was never appointed to you to die. Therefore, I did not make woman for you. Because being spiritual, your dwelling is in heaven. Now the Nephilim, who have been born of the spirit and of flesh, shall be called upon earth evil spirits, evil ruachs. And on earth shall be their habitation. Evil ruachos shall proceed from their flesh. When they die, evil spirits shall come from them. Because they were created from above, from the holy watchers was their beginning and primary foundation. Evil ruachos shall they be upon the earth. So the evil spirits that are causing problems are they're spiritual giants, right? Because they were Nephilim. They were giants when they were alive. And now they're spirits, they're evil spirits. And the ruachos of the wicked shall they be called. The habitation of the ruachos of heaven shall be in heaven, but upon earth shall be the habitation of terrestrial ruachos. So, the habitation of the ruachs of heaven, of the spirits of heaven, shall be in heaven. So, the angels, the habitations of the angels created in heaven shall be heaven. But upon the earth shall be the habitation of the terrestrial spirits who were born on the earth. So the children of the fallen angels were created on earth. Father Yahuwah, please help me to correctly speak your word. The ruachos of the Nephilim are like clouds, which shall oppress, corrupt, fall, content, and bruise upon the earth. They shall cause lamentation. No food shall they eat, and they shall be thirsty. They shall be concealed, and shall rise up against the sons of men, and against women, for they come forth during the days of slaughter and destruction. Chapter 16. As to the death of the Nephilim, whosoever their ruachos depart from their bodies, let their flesh, that which is perishable, be destroyed before the judgment. Thus shall they perish until the day of great consummation of the great world. A destruction shall take place of the watchers and the impious. And now to the watchers who have sent you to pray for them, who in the beginning were in heaven, say, in heaven have you been secret, have you been? Say, in heaven have you been, semicolon. Secret things, however, have not been manifested to you. Yet have you known a reprobated mystery. So you have known a reprobated mystery. So it's saying that the stuff that the fallen angels taught was like a reprobated mystery. There are greater things that they did not know. In this you have related to women in the hardness of your heart. And by that mystery have women and mankind multiplied evils upon the earth. Say to them, never therefore shall you obtain peace. You couldn't even do well with a little secret. You're not going to get another chance to do worse with greater secrets, is what he's telling them. Chapter 17, praise Yahweh. They raised me up into the certain place where they, the angels, were like the appearance of a burning fire. And when they pleased, they assumed the likeness of men. So the angels were in the likeness of burning fire, and when they wanted to, they changed it to the appearance of men. They carried me to a lofty spot on a mountain, the top of which reaches to heaven. And I looked, and I beheld the receptacles of light and of thunder at the extremities of the place where it was deepest. And there was a bow of fire and arrows in their quiver. A sword of fire and every species of lightning. Then they elevated me to a babbling stream, a talking stream, right? Because babbling means talking. And to a fire in the west, which received all the setting of the sun. I came to the river of fire, which flowed like water and emptied itself into the great sea westward. I saw every large river until I arrived at the great darkness. He's not in earth. He's not in earth, I don't think. I went to where all the flesh migrate. Okay, I can't be too certain about that. So that's something we should study. But don't get beside the point. That's something we should study and look into if we are already saved and on track. If you're not saved yet, don't even worry about it, because it ain't that important. And I beheld the mountains of the gloom. This is just for kingdom conversations, for those who are already living righteously, doing the work, and need something to, as we studying deeper. This is a deeper study. This ain't a first level study, okay? This isn't a beginner study, because you want to make sure that you have first sought the way, the truth, and the life, and you got your spiritual armor on, and you know you working for salvation. Okay, let me say this right, because you can't work for salvation. Know that you're a child of the kingdom. That Yahuwah willing, you have the hope of salvation. You already doing kingdom works, because if you are a child and you sit at the table, you're not gonna go and get up from the table of Yahuwah and go work in Satan's kingdom. You're gonna do kingdom works, right? So those who are doing kingdom works and are already seeking the Most High and are already secured in their belief, and these are things that we can study that are kingdom, that is a part of the kingdom of the Most High, not going back into the world and saying, oh, let me study something in the world, right? No, this is, if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say. Hey. Wait, pause. And I went to where all of flesh migrate, and I beheld the mountains of the gloom, which constitutes winter, and of the place from which issues the water in every abyss. I saw also the mountains of all the rivers in the world, and the mountains of the deep. Chapter 18. I then surveyed the receptacles of all the winds, perceiving that they contributed to adorn the whole creation, and to guard the foundation of the earth. I surveyed the stone which supports the corners of the earth. I also beheld the four winds which bear up the earth. And this is not imagery. It's not imagery. In the expanse of the heaven, and I beheld the winds occupying the exalted sky, arising in the midst of heaven and of earth, and constituting the pillars of heaven. I saw the winds which turned the sky, which caused the orb of the sun and all the stars to set. And over the earth I saw the winds which support the clouds. This is all literal. I saw the path of the angels. I perceived at the extremity of the earth the expanse of the heaven above it. Then I passed on toward the south, where burnt both day by night 6 mountains formed of glorious stones, 3 towards the east and 3 towards the south. Those which were towards the east were of variegated stone, one of which was Margaret, Margarit, and another of antimony, Antimony. Those towards the south were of a red stone, and though the middle one reached to heaven like the throne of Elohim, a throne composed of alabaster, the top of which was sapphire, which was of sapphire. I saw too a blazing fire hanging over all the mountains. And there I saw a place on the other side of an extended territory where waters were collected. I likewise beheld terrestrial, and terra means earth, terrestrial foundations deep in the fiery columns of heaven. And heaven also means sky, deep in the fiery columns of the sky. And in the columns of heaven, I beheld fires which descended without number. But neither on high or into the deep, over these foundations also I perceived a place which had neither the expanse of heaven above it, it had neither sky above it, nor solid ground underneath it. So it didn't have sky above it or ground beneath it. It was neither water above it or anything on the wing, but the spot was desolate. Okay, so black holes do exist. At least one. There is a black hole. There is an abyss. Okay. And there I beheld 7 stars. Okay, so it has 7 stars, either in it or around it. Great blazing mountains. And I beheld 7 stars like great blazing mountains. So the stars were like great blazing mountains. And like spirits entreating me. And the angel said, this place, until the consummation of heaven and earth, will be the prison of the stars and host of heaven. Okay, so the abyss, the black hole, is the prison of the stars of the host of heaven. Okay, of the fallen angels. The stars which roll over fire are those which transgress the commandment of Elohim before their time arrived. For they came not in their season. Therefore was he offended with them and bound them unto the period of consummation of their crimes in the secret year. Okay, so there is a black hole. I'm coming out of the world. Okay, so there is a black hole. I know, learn new information today. There is a black hole, and it is a prison for the children of heaven, those who were created ruachos until the time of the end. That is fact. Then, chapter 19, then Uriel said, here the angels who cohabited with women appointed their leaders in assuming many forms. Okay, so they took many forms, they shapeshifted, made men profane and caused them to error. So they sacrificed to devils as to Elohim. Excuse me. So when you're talking about, oh, we all the same God, no, we don't. And those who have knowledge are not being anything but truthful. We have to have conversations without disrespecting one another, because the goal is not to start an argument, but to save a soul from hell. We are not serving there's only one living Elohim who created the whole universe. We cannot worship anything but him. We cannot worship anyone but him. So telling that truth should not come off as offensive, right? And if you are offended, it is truly a sickness. It is a sickness, because you're fighting for something that you believe. And I understand that you're fighting for something that you believe, that you've been taught to believe, and you don't want to let go that it's true, because you have so many things connected to it. But it's a sickness that you have to come out of, because it's pulling you to death. For in the great day of judgment, with which they shall be judged, until they are consumed, and their woman also shall be judged, who led astray the angels of heaven, that they might salute them. And I, Enoch, alone saw the likeness of the end of all things, nor did any man see it as I saw it. Chapter 20. These are the names of the angels who watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels, who is over clamor and terror. Raphael, one of the holy angels, who is over the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the holy angels, who inflicts punishment on the world and the luminaries, on the world and the stars. Michael, one of the holy angels, who is over mankind. Virtue, commands the nations. Sarakiel, one of the holy angels, who is over the spirits of the children of men that sin. Gabriel, one of the holy angels, who is over the serpents, over paradise, and over the cherubim. Chapter 21. Then I made a circuit to a place in which nothing was completed. And there I beheld neither the tremendous workmanship of an exalted heaven, nor of an established earth, but a desolate spot, prepared and terrific. There too I beheld 7 stars of heaven, bound in it together like great mountains, and like a blazing fire. I exclaimed, for what species of crime have they been found? He asks, for what species of crime have they been bound? Like, what did they do to be bound here? And why have they been removed to this place? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me and who conducted me, answered, Enoch, wherefore do you ask? Wherefore do you reason with yourself? And anxiously inquire. These are those of the stars which transgressed the commandment of El Elyon, and they are here bound until the infinite number of days of their crimes be completed. For there I afterward passed on to another terrific place, where I beheld the operation of a great fire blazing and glittering, in the midst of which there was a division. Columns of fire struggled together to the end of the abyss, and deep was their descent, but neither its measurement nor magnitude was I able to discover, neither could I perceive its origin. Then I exclaimed, how terrible is this place, and how difficult to explore. Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, Enoch, why are you alarmed and amazed at this terrific place, at the sight of this suffering? This, he said, is the prison of the angels, and here they are kept forever. Chapter 22. From there I proceeded to another spot, where I saw on the west a great and lofty mountain, a strong rock, and 4 delightful places. Internally it was deep and capacious, capacious, and very smooth as if it had been rolled over. It was deep. It was both deep and dark to behold. Then Raphael, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, these are delightful places where the ruach goes, the souls of the dead will be collected. So when people die, it's where we will be gathered until the day of judgment. For them were they formed, and here will be collected all the souls of the sons of men. These places in which they dwell shall they occupy until the day of judgment, and until their appointed period. Oh, Father Yahuwah, please don't let us die. Their appointed period will be long, even until the great judgment. And I saw the ruachos of the sons of men who were dead. Oh, praise Yahuwah. And their voices reached to heaven while they were accusing. And I inquired of Raphael, an angel who was with me, and said, whose ruach is that, the voice of which reaches to heaven and accuses? He answered, saying, this is the ruach of Abel, who was slain by his brother Cain, and who will accuse that brother until his seed be destroyed from the face of the earth, until his seed die from the seed of mankind. And that time, therefore, I inquired respecting him, and respecting the general judgment, saying, why is one separated from another? And he answered, 3 separations have been made between the ruachos of the dead, and thus have the ruachos of the righteous been separated. So the righteous are separated from the wicked, namely by a chasm, by water, and by light above it. And in the same way likewise are sinners separated when they die, and are buried in the earth, judgment not overtaking them in their lifetime. Here their souls are separated. Moreover, abundant is their suffering until the time. Moreover, abundant is their suffering. So you can fail when you're dead. So they have abundant suffering. Father, oh, please help me get right. Oh, please help me get right. Until the time of the great judgment, the castigation, castigation, and the torment of those who eternally execrate, whose souls are punished and bound forever. And thus has it been from the beginning of the world. Thus has there existed a separation between the souls of those who utter complaints and of those who watch for their destruction, to slaughter them in the day of sinners. And thus has it been from the beginning of the world, thus has it existed, a separation between the souls of those who utter complaints and of those who watch for their destruction, to slaughter them in the day of sinners. A receptacle of this sort has been formed for the souls of the unrighteous men and of sinners, of those who have completed crime and associated with the impious, whom they resemble. Their souls shall not be annihilated in the day of judgment, neither shall they arise from this place. Then I blessed Elohim and said, Blessed be my Adonai, Yahuwah of glory and of righteousness, who reigns over all forever and ever. Chapter 23. From there I went to another place toward the west, unto the extremities of the earth, and where I beheld a fire blazing and running along without cessation, cessation, which intermitted its course by day nor by night, but continued always the same. I inquired, saying, What is this which never ceases? Then Raguel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, This blazing fire which you behold running towards the west is all the luminaries of heaven, is all the stars of heaven, the lights. Chapter 24. I went from there to another place and saw a mountain of fire flashing both by day and night. I proceeded towards it and perceived 7 splendid mountains, which were all different from each other. Their stones were brilliant and beautiful. All were brilliant and splendid to behold, and beautiful was their surface. 3 were towards the east, and strengthened by being placed one upon another. And 3 were towards the south, strengthened in a similar manner. And there likewise deep valleys, which did not approach each other. And the 7th mountain was in the midst of them. In length, they all resembled the seat of a throne. And Odourifus, Odourifus. I have to get a dictionary and go over a lot of these words, because there's a lot that I don't know what it means, and it's okay, because we are students of the good book and we study. When you go to school and all this, it's just a distraction from this truth. All these philosophers and children that Yahuwah created that went astray and are teaching you their crooked paths is negative points. It's basically like you're dumbing yourself down. Take your kids out of school. Take your kids out of school. Live for the Most High. Teach them the truth. This is my child's study. This is her education. Among these were a tree of an unceasing smell. Among these was a tree of an unceasing smell, nor of those which were in Eden was there one of all the fragrant trees which smelt like this. Its leaf, its flower, and its bark never withered. And its fruit was beautiful. Its fruit resembled the cluster of the palm. I exclaimed, "Behold, this tree is goodly in aspect, pleasing in its leaf, and the sight of its fruit is delightful to the eye." Then Michael, one of the holy and glorious angels who were with me and who presided over them, answered and said to Enoch, "Why do you inquire respecting the odor of this tree? Are you inquisitive to know it?" Then I, Enoch, replied to him and said, "Concerning everything am I desirous of instruction, but particularly concerning this tree." He answered me, saying, "That mountain which you behold, the extent of whose head resembles the seat of Yahuwah, will be the seat on which shall sit the holy and great Yahuwah of glory." Okay. "The everlasting King, when he shall come and descend." Why did they remove this book from Scripture? Why did they remove this book from Scripture? That tells you a lot about Christianity. Continue with your routine. Get on your routine. "And when he shall come and descend to visit the earth with goodness, and that tree of an agreeable smell, not one of carnal odor, there shall be no power to touch until the period of the great judgment, when all shall be punished and consumed forever. This shall be bestowed upon the righteous and humble. The fruit of this tree shall be given to the elect." Ooh, praise Yahweh. "For towards the north shall life be planted in the holy place, towards the habitation of the everlasting King. Then shall they greatly rejoice and exult in the Holy One." Praise Yahuwah, who lives forever. "The sweet odor shall enter into their bodies, and they shall live a long life on the earth, as your forefathers have lived. Neither in their days shall sorrow, distress, trouble, and punishment afflict them. And I blessed Yahuwah of glory, the everlasting King, because he has prepared this tree for the Kodashim, formed it, and declared that he would give it to them." And I am on chapter 25. That was the end. When we get back into this kingdom conversation, we'll be discussing Enoch chapter 25. And these videos are for you to watch, for you to be encouraged to read scripture on your own, teach to your children, pull them up out of this satanic world where they being sacrificed at schools, in the devil system, and raise your children at home, have kingdom conversations, and do kingdom works. And I am a kingdom promoter, citizen of the kingdom of Yahuwah, El Olam, the everlasting Elohim, an ambassador of the kingdom of Yahuwah, right? On earth, but not of it. So praise Yahuwah, kingdom conversations coming to your table, in your house, in your family. And Yahuwah willing, today is the day of salvation. Do you receive it? Because, oh my goodness. Praise Yahuwah, and Yah willing, we living in salvation. We shall be living in salvation. Imagine, right? If we receive salvation, we're alive today. We serve Yahuwah. Some of us shall live and never die. Some of us will be called back in the resurrection. And then we will live forever. beautiful, blessed lives. I want that. I don't want no 9 to 5 that's stressful and then die and burn forever. That just don't even make no sense. So if I got to stand up against the world, Yahuwah with me. America, Babylon, fallen, bow down, serve Yahuwah. America is dead. We don't live in no America. This is the camp of the kingdom of Yahuwah's children that shall live and serve him. If you got something to say against it, my Father gonna take you out. Peacefully living. Peacefully living. I ain't even got to fight the enemies. All I got to do is do my Father's work and seek him, and he gonna take them out. I hope there are many that get right. Who wants to live alone and be lonely? Not me. And I'm not against the people of America, because a lot of you are lied to. It's the leaders of the world. It is the leaders of the world, not the citizens of the world. The president ain't my president. I serve Yahuwah. He is my king. Now the people, Yahuwah created all of us. Seek Yahuwah and get right. We don't worship no flag. We don't worship no idol. Keep Yahuwah's commandments. As we live in this earth, keep the commandments. Love Yahuwah with your whole heart, mind, and being. Worship him only. Don't take his name in vain, right? It ain't hard. Don't bow down and worship any idols. Keep the Shabbat holy. Work on that, right? It is okay to do righteous on the Shabbat. The Shabbat was made for men and not man for the Shabbat, right? It's your recovery day. It's your rest day. It's holy. Keep it. 5, honor your mother and father, right? I don't know the rest in order, but don't kill. We don't kill. We don't steal. We don't make up false stories. We don't want what belongs to somebody else, right? Now, if it's something in the store and you want to buy it, that is completely okay. Or if somebody's selling something, it's completely okay. Or if you ask somebody if they're willing to sell something and they say no, then you need to let that go about your heart and give it to the Most High, right? And don't commit adultery. Be with your own husband, your own wife, wives. It is not a sin. Whatever the Most High bless you with, if you got 1, be thankful. If you got 2, be thankful. If you got 3, be thankful. But love them and don't beat them and do kingdom works. And that's how we live in the earth. It ain't hard. It ain't hard. And seek Yahuwah. We out. Until next time.